Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Boundless English. I'm Jade.
And I'm Alex. And today's topic is one I have very personal experience with.
Alex warned me before we started recording that this episode hits close to home for him.
Very close. Because I have apologized badly. Many times. I thought I was apologizing, but I was actually making things worse.
And that is exactly what today is about. Today we are talking about how to apologize in English. Not just how to say sorry, but how to apologize in a way that actually repairs the damage, that actually means something.
Because there is a very big difference between saying the word sorry and giving a real apology.
A huge difference. And I think this is one of the most important communication skills there is. In friendships, in relationships, in the workplace. Getting this wrong can cost you a connection. Getting it right can actually strengthen one.
Can I tell you about my worst apology ever?
Please.
So a few years ago, I said something that upset a good friend. I was careless with my words. I knew I had hurt them. And I went to apologize. And I said, "I'm sorry you felt that way."
Oh no.
They looked at me for a long moment. And then they said, "That is not an apology, Alex."
And they were completely right.
Completely right. Because "I'm sorry you felt that way" is not taking responsibility for what I did. It is almost blaming them for having feelings about it. I learned that the hard way.
And this is the most common apology mistake in English. Saying sorry without ownership, without accountability, without actually acknowledging what you did wrong.
And it makes things worse, not better. Every time.
So today, 6 phrases. 6 ways to apologize in English that are genuine, clear, and actually work. Let's start. Phrase number 1. And this is how the best apologies begin. Not with the word sorry first, but with ownership. The phrase is, "I owe you an apology."
That opens with accountability immediately.
It does. The word owe is powerful. When you say, "I owe you an apology," you are saying, this is not optional. This is not a favor I am doing you. I owe this to you because of something I did. It is a debt I need to pay.
And it removes any sense that the apology is reluctant. You are walking toward the conversation, not being dragged into it.
Exactly. It shows the other person that you have thought about this, that you came prepared to take responsibility. Before you even say what you are sorry for, they already know you mean it.
And it works in any situation. Professional, personal, formal, casual.
Any situation. For example, I owe you an apology for the way I spoke to you in the meeting yesterday. That was not okay, and I have been thinking about it.
That second sentence adds so much. "I have been thinking about it." Tells them this has been on your mind. It wasn't a quick throwaway apology.
Never throw away. Let me hear you try it.
Okay. A colleague covered for me last week when I missed a deadline and made things difficult for them. I say, "I owe you an apology. What happened last week put you in an unfair position, and that was my fault."
Strong, clean, and direct. No excuses, no but, just clear ownership. A colleague hearing that will feel genuinely respected. Phrase number 2, and this one is where most apologies fail. People say, "I'm sorry for what happened," which is vague. What we need is specificity. The phrase is, "I was wrong to."
I was wrong to. You name the specific thing.
You name the exact thing. I was wrong to raise my voice. I was wrong to share that without asking you first. I was wrong to assume I knew how you felt. The specificity tells the other person that you actually know what you did. You aren't just hoping a general sorry will cover it.
Because a vague apology feels like you don't fully understand the impact of what you did.
Or that you hope they'll accept a quick sorry and move on without you having to face it properly.
And people can feel that, even if they can't name it.
They always can. Specificity is what makes an apology land. Let me show you the difference. "I'm sorry about yesterday" versus "I was wrong to cancel our plans at the last minute. I know how much you were looking forward to it, and I should have given you more notice.
The second one feels completely different. You know what you did. You know the impact it had. You are not hiding behind vagueness.
Never hide. Let the person see that you understand.
Let me try. I interrupted a colleague in a presentation, and it was disrespectful. I say, I was wrong to cut you off during your presentation. You had the floor, and I should have waited. It undermined what you were sharing, and I'm genuinely sorry.
Perfect. You named the action, you named the impact, and you said sorry as the conclusion, not the opening. That ordering matters. Sorry lands harder when it comes after understanding, not before. Phrase number 3. The one that shows the other person you were not just thinking about yourself in this apology. The phrase is, I understand why you felt.
Empathy. You are entering their experience.
Exactly. A real apology is not just about you unburdening yourself. It is about acknowledging the other person's experience. What did this feel like for them? What did they go through because of what you did?
And this phrase does that without being presumptuous. I understand why you felt is more careful than I know how you feel. Because you might not know exactly, but you can understand the logic of their reaction. That distinction is very important. I know how you feel can sometimes feel dismissive. I understand why you felt hurt validates the feeling without claiming to fully inhabit it. It respects the boundary between their experience and yours. And people feel that respect. Try it. A friend told me they felt left out when I didn't invite them to something. I say, I understand why you felt excluded. I should have thought about how it would look from your side, and I didn't. That wasn't fair to you.
Excellent. You validated their feeling, you acknowledged your lack of consideration, and you named the fairness issue. That friend will feel heard in a way that a simple sorry never would have achieved. Friends, if this episode is helping you, please like the video, subscribe to Boundless English, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Comment the word sorry below to take today's challenge. We read every single comment. Phrase number 4. For serious situations. Moments when something genuinely went wrong and the other person needs to hear full accountability. No softening, no cushioning. The phrase is, that wasn't okay, and I take full responsibility.
That one is heavy, in the best way.
It is, and that weight is appropriate in certain situations. When something caused real hurt or real damage, a gentle sorry is not enough. The other person needs to hear you say clearly, that was wrong, and this is on me.
I take full responsibility leaves no room for shared blame. No, we both could have handled it better. Just, I own this.
And that kind of accountability is rare, which is exactly why it is so powerful when someone does it.
Most people are afraid of full responsibility. They always want to leave a small exit door open.
But the person you hurt is standing there with no exit door. They lived the impact with no way out of it. The least you can do is close your own exit door when you apologize.
That is profound, Jade.
Let me show it in context. A manager says to a team member after a public mistake, what happened in that client meeting was not acceptable. That wasn't okay, and I take full responsibility. I should have prepared our team better, and I did not.
That manager just earned enormous respect, not lost it, because they had the courage to say what everyone already knew, without flinching.
Courage is the right word. A real apology takes courage.
Let me try. I shared something a friend told me in confidence, and it got back to them. I say, what I did was a betrayal of your trust. That wasn't okay, and I take full responsibility. There is no excuse for it.
Perfect. And notice you said there is no excuse for it. That matters. The moment you add an excuse to an apology, you have started to take it back.
Never add an excuse.
Never. An apology and an excuse in the same sentence cancel each other out. Phrase number 5. This one looks backwards at what you should have done differently. The phrase is, I should have.
I should have. You are naming the better choice you didn't make.
Exactly. This phrase is important because it shows you have reflected. You didn't just feel bad about what happened, you have actually thought about what the right thing to do would have been. And that reflection tells the other person, you have learned something. This is less likely to happen again.
And that is ultimately what people need to hear. Not just that you're sorry, but that you understand enough to do better next time.
Always looking forward inside the apology. For example, I should have asked for your opinion before making that decision. It affected you, and you deserved to be part of the conversation.
That tells them exactly where the process broke down and exactly where it should go differently next time.
The map for the future is inside the apology itself.
Let me try. I gave a colleague critical feedback in front of the whole team instead of privately. I say, I should have come to you directly and privately. Saying that in front of everyone was not fair and not how feedback should work. I'm sorry.
That is a beautifully constructed apology. You named the wrong choice, you named the impact, and sorry comes last, earned and genuine. And our final phrase, phrase number 6, this one moves the apology forward, out of the past into action. The phrase is, how can I make this right?
How can I make this right? You are not just closing the apology, you are opening a door.
Exactly. This question tells the other person, I am not done here. I don't just want to say sorry and walk away feeling lighter. I want to actually repair this. And I am putting that repair in your hands because this is your hurt, not mine to manage.
It gives them agency, which the situation took away from them.
And sometimes the answer is, you can't make it right. Sometimes the damage is done, but asking the question still matters. It shows you are willing to try.
And often the answer is simpler than you expect. Sometimes they just want acknowledgement, or a change in behavior, or just to know it won't happen again.
And you cannot know which one it is until you ask. So ask.
Let me try. I forgot an important commitment I made to a friend. I have apologized properly, and I close with, I know sorry doesn't fix the fact that I wasn't there when you needed me. How can I make this right?
And that question changes everything, because now you are working on it together. The apology was yours to give. The repair is something you build jointly.
That is a completely different kind of conversation.
A much better one. Game time. 3 situations. Ready, Alex?
Ready.
Situation 1. You sent an email with incorrect information to your whole team. It caused confusion and extra work for everyone. Your manager is waiting for an apology.
I owe everyone an apology for the email I sent yesterday. I was wrong to send it without double-checking the figures first. That caused unnecessary confusion and extra work for the team. And I take full responsibility. I should have verified everything before hitting send. It won't happen again.
That is a complete professional apology. You opened with ownership, named the specific mistake, acknowledged the impact, took full responsibility, and named what should have happened differently. No excuses, no but. Your manager and your team would respect you enormously for that.
And I didn't grovel. I didn't over-apologize. Just clear and accountable.
Clear and accountable is always more powerful than emotional and excessive. Situation 2. You said something thoughtless to a close friend during a stressful moment. It hurt them. They haven't called you since.
This one needs warmth.
I owe you an apology, and I have been thinking about this since it happened. I was wrong to say what I said. It was careless and unkind, and you didn't deserve that, especially from me. I understand why you pulled back. How can I make this right?
Beautiful. The phrase, especially from me, is what makes that exceptional. It says, I know you trusted me. I know the standard was higher between us, and I failed to meet it. That acknowledgement of the specific relationship makes the apology personal and real.
That is the most important friendship apology detail I have ever heard.
Phrase number 3.
Situation 3. You gave a client deliverables late, and it impacted their business. They are unhappy, and you need to rebuild the relationship.
I owe you a genuine apology. What happened with the deadline was not acceptable, and I take full responsibility. I understand why you feel let down. You trusted us to deliver, and we didn't. I should have communicated earlier when I saw the timeline was at risk. How can I make this right? And how can we rebuild your confidence in working with us?
Exceptional.
Friends, let's recap our 6 phrases.
Phrase 1. I owe you an apology. Open with ownership before you say anything else.
Phrase 2. I was wrong to. Name the specific thing. Vague apologies don't land.
Phrase 3. I understand why you felt. Enter their experience with empathy.
Phrase 4. That wasn't okay, and I take full responsibility for serious situations. No exit doors.
Phrase 5. I should have. Show you have reflected and know what better looks like.
And phrase 6. How can I make this right? Turn the apology into a repair. Give them agency.
6 phrases, 1 complete, genuine apology.
And here is what I want you to remember. A real apology is not about making yourself feel better. It is about making the other person feel seen, heard, and respected enough to receive your full accountability.
The moment you make an apology about your own guilt, you have already missed the point.
The apology is for them. Always.
And when you get it right, something remarkable happens. The relationship often comes out stronger than it was before because you have shown the other person who you really are, someone who takes responsibility and tries to repair what they break.
That is a rare and beautiful quality in any language. Here is your challenge this week. Think of one relationship, personal or professional, where a proper apology is overdue. Use today's phrases. Start with, I owe you an apology, and see what happens.
Comment sorry below if you are going to take that step this week. We will be cheering for you.
Every single one of you.
Until next time,
Take care of yourselves. Keep growing. Keep repairing.
goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye. See you next week on Boundless English.